welcome you all to Compellers Vibe Coding in the Enterprise. So what is vibe coding? I like to think of it as pair programming with AIs to help increase productivity. So this first episode, I'm going to create a partner sales portal for Compeller. This is going to allow sales partners to see their accounts, missions, and various metrics related. The reason I'm doing this episode is to show you guys the benefits and the pitfalls of vibe coding. Very important to know the difference. We'll get into more of that later. So let's just go ahead and jump right in. So it's important in vibe coding to create a proper context. What's important within the application that you're building? I find myself spending a lot of time creating instructions for the AI, which is really just a great set of documentation. This is going to be the sales portal. We have a README here, obviously. These are the types of domain objects that I want to see. I'm going to know that there's already an account and add these sort of things in. If it doesn't find the enum, it'll add the enum, and it'll put it all in the right place. Here's some of the rules, like revenue sources and commissions. They get 40% on their own signups, 20% on partner signups, and 15% override. I want to be able to list the accounts for the given login. Probably change this to say current login. Yeah, there we go. And see, I saw add ledger. That's a good idea. The ledger for selected account ID. Yep. Great. All right, I think that's good. We want it to use data tables, so it's going to have to go figure out what data tables is. And here are the roles I have in Spring Security. So I think this is a good starting point. So let's go ahead and fire up Claude. Well, let me first show you guys why that's so important. So this is my site, my GitHub repo. I'm looking at the base of it with all the different apps inside of it. And just to go back to these files, I mean, we've got 47 million lines of code with 41,000 files. So it's very, very important that we give it a proper primer. I've tested all the various agents out there. Right now I'm using Claude. I don't want to give up one of my heavy hitting GPUs to run something like DeepSeek with their forked agent from Google. Okay, so now Claude is in there. So it's connected. It read the MD file, so it knows everything there is. Let's tell it to read this README. Read this. And then we'll tell it to read the portal one. Read this. I got all of the instructions from my README, and it got all the instructions, and it seems to understand exactly what it is we're trying to do because we gave it really good instructions. So let's go back to Claude. Let's dev the partner portal, please. I like saying please. I'm going to go ahead and turn on auto accept edits. Why? Because I use GitHub as a way to review the differences in how it codes. So I'll go through each difference. Earlier we made a change here, and I'll say, okay, that looks good. I like that. If I don't like a change, I'll move it back, or I'll just jump right into the file, make the changes that I want to make. We'll come back here and watch what it's doing. Okay, I like that. It understands where my enums are stored, and it's putting them in the proper place. Completely different package than other things. Our instructions are working well. It's implementing the audit. Nice. I didn't tell it to, but I guess it looked at my other domain classes and saw that I have an audit log in there. Now this is where knowing is knowing. Sales partner does keep direct commission. Yeah. So actually, if we change the commission rate, it's nice to have an audit log. That obviously that rate would be on each instance of the ledger, but no, that's great. So we'll leave that. Looking at the account, they're adding in the wrap and the partner and using fetch join. I love that. So take a look at the diffs. It already created these 8 files. Let's see it both sides. We're just looking at account right now. See, it added the enum for source, set it to organic by default. That's fine. Yep. Like how it's using fetch joins on the rep and the partner. So far so good. So I should probably start by, we'll just close this because we know there's some things we don't like. Go to jump to source. Say if app.admin user, great. If app.sales rep, yep, and over here, if app.sales partner, great. I think I'm happy with the way account controller came out. I don't want to spend a lot of time on the views just yet. Okay, so it went out and did data tables. That's cool. I'm gonna put a to-do here. So I like that. It's using the jQuery data tables, so that looks good. If we run it, we'll see how that turned out. Direct, organic. Oh. Yeah, I mean, this is just a lot of boilerplate stuff that I don't want to have to code, and I'm really good at doing this sort of thing. So start up the app here after we create the database records. Okay, so we'll let it go work on that while I continue reviewing code. So let's look at the account metrics here. These are new files. Happy this domain class is being audited, so any CRUD will have an audit trail. That looks good. Account source, exactly what I asked it to do. The commission ledger. Occurred is a good starting status. I think we have settled and reversed. That's good. Direct partner override. That looks good. Metrics. Inference metrics. That's good. So it takes the inference task. This makes sense. Let's see how it's doing commissions on the service. So on the service, inference, gross margin. Go back here. That's great. So if the source is direct and it has a sales rep and it has a partner, I'm going to create a ledger for the rep, a ledger item for the partner, the commission override, the direct, yep. If the source is direct and the rep, I don't know about all this if-else stuff. I'll probably come back and reformat this as it gets more complicated. Use like a interface with perhaps a strategy on this calculate commission. So override it with the correct implementation. That way each one of these are their own method. But for now, we're just going to run with it and see how the app starts and how everything looks. I'm happy with the logic. It looks like it did exactly what I asked it to do. So this is where iterating comes in. Once we get all this in and we know it's working, then we're going to start iterating to make it more usable. So sales partner, yep, I'm happy with that. Also auditable, and a sales rep, the same thing, happy with that. Rep, default, partner rate, override, perfect. So yeah, so the sales table are gonna probably be all the new ones. Let's go take a look. All right, I like this. Here's our alter table. So account, we're gonna add the varchar for organic. I'm gonna just make this 50. I don't know how big things will be later. Sales rep 2. So let's make that 2. And it points to user 2. Cool, that's me. And then let's make sales partner. I think was 3. I made that 3. Let's make that pointing to test user. Cool. All right. Let's go back to our browser and refresh. Cool. All right. So we've got a commission ledger here. It's going to list all the ledger entries. You're going to be able to sort on rate, amount, status, beneficiary, settled date, and the reference. I love it. Not running any more errors on the code side, so let's just look at the whole picture here. I go back to accounts, I see this. Cool. Now I think what we're gonna do is make this thing prettier. Then we're gonna add some more data so we can see the ledger if it's working properly. Do one last check-in. And now we have a clean slate to work with our LLM. I mean, this is literally how you can chat with this stuff. Let's see what it does. I go to the creates a modern dashboard with cards and charts. Cool. Responsive design, better photography, visualization for metrics. That's great. I mean, how much time I've spent sitting in conference rooms talking about this sort of thing. To go through some Scrum process, to get it into some part, to go through all the QA and everything. I mean, really, you can cut out a lot of that crap and just say, my account dashboard looks like crap. I want it to look better. Make it pretty. And it'll go through its knowledge of humanity base and say, oh, this is what normally looks pretty. So let's see what it comes up with. So let's see how this actually turned out. Wow, look at that. Total accounts, total revenue, gross margin, total commissions. So once I put in the commission data, I love that. This revenue trend, oh my God. All right. Well, we can. It's trying to paint this chart. Oh God. All right. I like what I'm seeing, other than this revenue trend and account sources, whatever that is. Look, this is a great improvement. However, there is an issue with the charts. They are taking up much of the screen. Okay, I'm gonna show you guys a little trick. So that's my screenshot, so that it knows what I'm seeing. I'm gonna use its vision. So the revenue trend chart is expanding and taking up way too much vertical space. Let me fix this by chart sizing it to keep it properly constrained. Cool, that's what we want. Skullduggery, so it's gonna skulldugger. Oh, that means. All right, so let's see what it came up with. It finished. And refreshing looks fantastic. Look at that. That's exactly what we wanted. And that was simply by telling it, it was ugly and to make it prettier. I love how it's splitting things up. This is not test data. This is, well, it is in my dev environment, but it's using real data, which is great. And you see, this is the power of vibe coding, right? I mean, if I wasn't doing an episode, I would have done this in a quarter of the time. And I mean, building a partner portal with all this stuff in there, this would take, some guys a lot of time without having this sort of superpower, if you will. I don't like that spacing. It's like there's a missing navigation here, and we don't need a navigation. I want it to fill it up. So I'll just change broken chart to broken UI. I want the page to fill the screen. Okay, and then tell it to analyze broken UI. Cool. So now that we're at that point, let's not override the main layout. Let's just make the change. Also notice the footer is off to the right and should be centered. So again, we're going to do from clipboard. I'm gonna give it this image. Perfect. Okay, there we go. I can see the issue. The dashboard is now too far to the left. The footer is misaligned. Well, that's not exactly true. Let's modify the main layout file. We'll see what it does. But that's not exactly true. The dashboard is not too far to the left. The footer that's too far to the right. So let's just add some stuff while it's galvanizing. See what that says on Urban Dictionary. Urban Dictionary. Galvanizing. Aimless pursuit of thrills. Roam around in search of pleasure or amusement. I hope you'll find the pleasure you seek. Yeah, 9% left in my context window. I'm gonna pull it with that. It's galvanizing. Okay, let's see what it says. Thank you. I'm glad it's looking great. The modern blah blah blah. Summary. Full this that centered added. See. Okay, that's cool. And the footer is indeed fixed. So now let's just get the colors. Yeah, I enjoyed solving the layout challenges, especially getting the footer properly. Clean data. If you need any other enhancements, we'll galvanate some more. I'm gonna check in these changes just because I'm happy so far. Let's tell this thing to galvanate on the color scheme. Okay, this really is shaping up. But the colors look like a unicorn part. And we match my header and footer. Ah, you're absolutely right. Those purple and pink gradients do look like unicorn fart. Let me update the dashboard to match your existing dark header and footer color scheme. That's really cool. I mean, you see how well we get along? It does all this stuff for me, and it loves my humor. This is way better than my wife. No, I'm just kidding. I'll edit that out later. See, where are we at so far? Right, the colors are starting to match. Dun, dun, dun. I'm liking it. I'm liking it much better. It's cool. It's Christmas every day. More inference, please. Well, this being my first YouTube episode, I'm actually having a lot of fun doing this, and that I'm talking to myself most of the time anyways, so might as well be sharing with the world. And it's taking a little bit of time. I find that it does, once the context gets large and it shrinks, asking that it takes away from the middle by default. I wanted to keep the beginning and the most recent conversations. That way, more like the middle stuff that's most likely not needed. But I do find that it runs a little slower. So if I say status, the really? Oh, context. Sorry. So the system prompt is using 3,000 tokens. The system total is 11,000 tokens. MCP tools. Using no tokens. Why? Because I don't need MCP. I got AI coders that can code anything I want. I have my own infrastructure. That stuff there, that's my dev environment. And some backups. I'll show you guys later, but I've got a closet stacked to the rim of servers and GPUs. And the real challenge has been the cooling system. I've spent a lot of time in the attic running ducting and insulated ducting, and now I've got the cooling under control. Several AC systems that keep my office and my server closet as a isolated system and cold all the time. Let's see. So let's refresh. Okay, that looks better. Bird settled total. And then we're gonna run this next. So there we go. All right, so now we have the data in there. Okay, so the ledger totals at the top aren't working. Looking at the screenshot and bebopping, oh, I can see the issue. The totals at the top are all showing 0, even though they're clear commission issues for settled. That's right. Problem likely JavaScript executing before checking the console. No, this is commission. Okay, look, the totals really should be a DB lookup, not a JavaScript. The values need to be accurate. Okay, just come over here and say reversed. The total. Perfect. All right. I think the ledger looks good now. Okay, so let's just review what we accomplished here today. So we've got a partner dashboard. The partner logs in, they see their accounts, the revenue that they've created, gross margin, and their total commissions. They can see the trends. They can filter by how it was sourced. They're able to see their commissions on each account and go and view the ledger that's associated with the account. Pagination is all working. I think we can link each one of these records detail that shows inference metric itself, as well as the inference task. When in ledger, let's allow for a modal to show details of each ledger item showing the inference metric and task details. That'll be cool. Okay, now that it's finished, it's broken. No pointer error. My debugger will work in here. And then it's looking for inference counts. Why? I don't have an inference count in the metrics. And anyways, there's only one inference. So clearly they didn't understand what we're trying to do here, which is fine. So let's just start by removing that. We have revenue, we have gross margin, we have a period. So I guess there was some hallucination there. For whatever reason, I wanted to think that there was some kind of count on the inference. There's not. Inference, there's an inference. All right, so the commission is based off of inference task. So this count thing keeps popping up. I don't like that. On inference task ID. Task ID. Boom. And now what? No such property. Total cost. I'm gonna go to the ledger again. Gonna be called cost of goods sold, COGS. So let's go back here and say COGS and refresh. And then total cost again. COGS. Anywhere else that shows up? No. Okay, and now it's saying period. Period is actually on the ledger. No such property email plus user. You know, when I start seeing stuff like this happen, this is what I like to do. I quit. I close Claude Code. I open up Claude in sudo here. So that it'll do any updates that it needs to do, and then quit. And then I open it up again, and I tell it to reevaluate the entire project. So we'll start with the portal project. I'll copy the reference. Let's work on portal today. Now I'm going to get a brand new Claude context. Going to go and explore portal, which is great. But yeah, I like the way it's looking here. Yeah, the modal's looking better. And we're going to get back to the main view. I'm going to go back into the ledger. So yeah, I'm happy with that. And then let's go look at the ledger. Okay, so let's jump back in and review the code. Like in the account controller, we added some calendar objects so that we can pull the monthly revenue do some sort of comparison. That's good. Like what I'm seeing here. Calculate the percentage change, and then we pass the values in. That looks great. And yeah, it's doing a fetch join for the ledger items, which is good. So we're not running into the N+1 issues. So that's great. Happy with that. So we can move on. Take a look at the index. I like how it added in class info, which is really nice. Let's see. Go to the top here. Okay, so it took the hard-coded values for the percent difference from last month and used the real code. That's good. And I love the fact that it's swapping out the classes based on a positive or negative change. It's really nice. It's going to look really cool. Didn't ask for that, it just did it. It took out the JavaScript since we went to using DB queries and passing it into the controller, so that's good. So yep, happy with that. And we got one more, and that's the ledger. Okay, so we have a change here that's adding some class for the modal. Great. We asked for actions. That's the button to get the modal. And we have an index on the iterator. Suppose that's so we can get a unique modal for each one. And yes, that is true. The data target. Cool. And then we're iterating. So yeah, this all looks really good. I'm happy with this. I'm gonna add a to-do here. Move all JavaScript depends into project. I don't want to reach out to CDNs or whatever. Okay. So happy with that. So we can move on. So let's go ahead and commit these changes. Okay, perfect. So add modal details for month-over-month metrics, implemented detailed modals for commission entries, and hence UI for stalling, data experience, good. Backend logic to calculate month-over-month, revenue commission, integrated changes into the accounts view, removed redundant client-side calculations as metrics are now server generated. Perfect. All right. So with that, thanks for watching. I'm going to wrap this episode up. I'm looking forward to seeing you guys in the next episode.